maybe a month ago, I don't know how long ago, this think tank produced a report which was fictitious. They called it the Alternative Influencer Network. The reason I say it's fictitious is because the graph links me with people I have never met. It says that the people in this graph, if there's a link between nodes, it means they've appeared in the same video together. I believe a lot of the connections were incorrect. Some of them, I actually do appear in some of these videos because I was at the same event. It's kind of ridiculous. But there's a line directly from me to Stefan Molyneux. I literally met the guy here for the first time. I've never done a video with the guy. I don't know if I even will. But this study was fictitious in that it aligned me with a group of people who I share very little in common with politically. Right? It says that the people in the group are against social justice, against feminism, against left-wing policies, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, like, I'm actually for all of those things, except...
I find this whole situation to be a bit, how one would say, fucking stupid. Obviously, and I'm poaching this from the comments, I'll give you the quick rundown, like, back during one of my For Honor rants, alright, this will be a fucking, this will be legendarily short, because when I'm around, fucks are legendarily short, yeah. Right, so, summary in, no, that doesn't rhyme, right, news slash and flash, whatever, fuck it, let's just go, right, so, Tim's at Politicon, political convention in Los Angeles, I believe, and the Alternative Influencer Network report, which is alleged to be fictitious, is used in a Young Turks report where Tim is dragged in to things because the report links him with Stefan Molyneux, which apparently he only just met the day that video went up, and he approached Cenk to ask him to be a bit more careful because he has no connection, he doesn't want to be brought into this, but it is so clear that Tim's far centre extremism has just pushed Cenk over the edge. I poached that from the comments. I admit it without shame. I stole that joke. So, what really annoys me is that later on in the video, later on in the video, he details what Cenk said to him, to the point of, oh, when did you lose your fucking mind, man? Obviously I sound like, you weren't there, man! And I do occasionally get Vietnam flashbacks to the Young Turks' election coverage. Because that was a fucking massacre. Anyway, but I just find, like, why would you cuss out Tim Pool, of all people? Why would you cuss Tim out, of all people? Like, I'm fairly centre. I'm fairly centre. The things I agree with on the right, things I agree with on the left. I wouldn't pitch my tent in either of those camps. I'd very much not pitch a tent at all. I hate going camping. Why am I using this analogy? Anyway. But going after Tim because he has some criticisms and some constructive feedback on something that you legitimately got wrong, going off on him saying, oh, you're a fucking Trump supporting right winger, and he actually says, I think it's either in this video or in another like follow-up video, Tim is a man of credit where credit's due, and he admitted, he admitted that he's not an economist, and he says, like, from what you can see, the economy's doing a lot better. He conceded the point of North Korea. He conceded, like, a good 2 or 3 points. And that is fair. And the problem is that Tim doesn't suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, which I find is a problem with people who do. Because if you're not constantly trying to get Trump impeached, assassinated, arrested, murdered, just remove each buzzword where you feel is appropriate. If you're not, like, consistently trying to overthrow the president and usher it, like, and be, like, a hero of the hashtag resistance, then you're obviously a Trump supporter, when there are some of us who just really don't fucking care. Like, a lot of people, like, back in college, because I was in college during when it all came out, like 2015, 2016. And a friend of mine in uni actually said, "Oh, I bet no one here like reckons Trump will win." And I said, "Why not give him a chance? You know, he seems like a bit of a buffoon, but that's because he's not a savvy politician. He's a businessman." And then when he got elected, a lot of people I know in the town I live, because it's a fairly small town, a lot of people were like, "Oh no, he's that's just depressing how Trump got elected." And it's just like, give him a chance, man. And there are things that he's done that I don't agree with. There are things that he's done that I'm like, yeah, credit where credit's due. Well, I think one of the biggest credits that he deserves is how he handled North Korea. And you have people like Kyle Kalinske going, "Oh, when fat fuck dictator McShithead over there starts blowing hot air, you just let him have his tantrum and then you go on about your day." No, you don't just let him do that, because that's how the cycle continues. He blows hot air, we sort of back off, let him have a say, and then he goes to his people and say, "Look, the fucking West are cowering before our might." But instead what Trump did, he called their bluff, and I think that was actually pretty decent. I think that was a pretty good call, because like they were like puffing out their chests, and they were like, "Oh yes, my nuclear button's bigger. Oh, mine works at least." It's like, "Ooh, sick burn there, Cheeto man." But the problem is, that's all you had to do. That's literally the only thing you had to do, because deep down, Kim Jong-un knows second war breaks out, he's fucked. So you call their bluff. And that's what Trump did. He called their bluff, but as soon as that came out, as soon as like peace talks, it's like they were, I think it was like, went from nuclear war to like Trump had no involvement in the North Korean like peace talks whatsoever, and like basically giving all the credit to Kim Jong-un's sister, which I find quite interesting. This isn't supposed to be a video on how Trump bring peace to the Korean Peninsula, but as someone who has a rather amateurish interest in like military theory, and like, because I've watched a lot of videos of like Julius Caesar's conquests in relation to a project I'm chasing up right now, but the thing is, it just like, war was never going to happen. All he had to do was call his bluff, and the bluff was called, and now there's the Korean War, which has technically been going on for 70 plus years, and Donald Trump finished the Korean War with a swipe of his fucking phone. And you can say, "Oh, fucking, oh, Cheeto man bad, orange man racist," but this is what separates Tim from what I consider, because that part of the clip that I played there, where it says he's for a lot of these things in relation to like feminism, social justice and shit. What separates him from the actual NPC SJW types is that he's willing to concede. He's willing to give credit where it's due. And that's the broader point I'm trying to make. It's like, because that's how you, like, because that's what makes Tim really likable. Because if you have a disagreement with him, you can say, "Hey, I don't agree on that point." He's like, "Yeah, sure, let's have a conversation, let's hash it out." Whereas if you say to Cenk, "Oh, I don't think you got the point properly there," it's like, "Oh, fuck off, man! When did you lose your fucking mind? You weren't there, man!" You know, it just, and I'm coming off an illness, so doing that voice really fucks with me. But no, this kind of pisses me off when I see respectable people like Tim Pool being treated like he was some psychotic right-winger just by dint of having a fucking brain and being able to think critically. So, I'm going to be a presumptive dickhead because I haven't made that clear enough already. Tim, if you end up watching this, I apologise on behalf of Cenk, because I know if I do, he's going to get pissed off with me, and anything that pisses him off makes me happy. I'll catch yous all later.